The one thing that every loco-owning group wants is for its engine to be back in service. It stands to reason, doesn't it? That dream is about to come true here at Bridgnorth for an SVR-based loco that will be the sole survivor of its class, the Stanier Mogul.
The Stanier Mogul is a very historic locomotive. It was the first class designed by William Stanier when he joined the LMS in 1932. The class came out in 1933, this particular example in January 1934, and it is the only survivor of the 40 engines built. When an engine went to a scrapyard, it was generally the end. It would be scrapped, cut up, end of story. Di Woodham at Barry decided to concentrate on scrapping wagons, and over 200 engines he had there were left to one side. And that gave enthusiasts the time to raise the money, and almost all of them eventually came out for preservation. This is one of them. It was a process which took a few years and a lot of money in those days, but it came to the Severn Valley Railway overnight on its own wheels over BR metals. As a result, we were able to preserve it, restore it, run it. It did its first ticket from 1991 to 1998. It had another overhaul then, came back in 2003, worked to 2013 when it was withdrawn again for overhaul, and this is the state it's in now, waiting to go back into traffic. It's a very strong engine. It was popular with the crews, it steamed well, it pulled well, it did everything it has to be. We started working on this in 2013, soon after it came out of traffic, and we've had more or less weekly working parties ever since.
When I first joined the group, I didn't know much about it. I knew who designed it, and eventually discovered it was the only one of its kind. Fortunately saved for posterity, so to speak. And when this job came up, I thought, yes, a chance to give something back to the railway, which we've enjoyed as a family for many years. It's a sort of locomotive that enthusiasts in particular will come and want to see because it's the only one. 2 moguls on this railway. There aren't many of them about, so it's significant. It's something that is different from a lot of the others that we have.
The outstanding item now is the boiler. It's come on in leaps and bounds over the last few months.
A lot of people perhaps don't quite realise how much work goes into these. There's hundreds of hours on these things, thousands of hours, taking out the frames, finding all the dodgy plate work, cutting it, replacing it, hundreds of stays and hundreds of rivets. They all take a lot of time and a lot of care to make sure that they're going in correctly and that won't cause a fault later on down the service. So there's a lot of challenges along the way, but gradually overcame them. Today we're hydraulicking the Stanier Mogul. That involves putting water in the boiler and then putting some pressure behind it and finding where it leaks. Once we've found those leaks, we'll then cork them and drain it and then fill it up again, rinse, repeat.
The boiler is well on its way to being overhauled. We've got to express our appreciation to Phil and Jack. They've done a tremendous amount of work in a very short time. The Severn Valley Railway has largely done all the overhaul work, all the components have been machined, replaced. We of the fund more or less dismantled it ourselves. We've done quite a lot in putting it back together again, and I must not forget we've also done all the paintwork so far. I can say we've made a big difference. The work we've done has lightened the load considerably, which is not by any means denigrating what the Severn Valley have done. They've done a massive job on this engine. It is virtually a new engine which will go back into traffic.
This is a bit of a dream really. I've always wanted to do this. It's hard work, hard graft, can be dirty, but very rewarding. I'm very lucky to be here in such an amazing workshop with very knowledgeable people.
When I think about seeing the locomotive finished and actually running, it excites me, cheers me up no end, especially after 9.5, 10 years of working on it. I hope to get a chance to ride on the footplate and even possibly drive it.
I'm one of the 4 people who founded the funds back in 1969, so I can say the sense of relief amongst the membership will be pretty high. We will be very, very pleased to see it back. It's been a long 10 years.
It's been an honour to see the work that's taking place here today. The sum total of SVR expertise and many thousands of hours of volunteer labour. We can't wait to see 13268 back in service. Keep your eyes peeled for updates here on the SVR's official YouTube channel.